It's straight talk with no chaser. It gives the people a voice, empowers you with a choice. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. She provides a platform of growth and gives the dying people hope. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser.
Welcome to the Straight No Chaser Show on intellectualradio.com and iHeart Radio Station. This is your host, Rhea Ray Harris, and I'm so grateful to be with you this evening. I'm working to not say Auntie Linda, but that's how I've known her for like the past 20 years. But this is Linda Hanna, Program Director for Chicago Women in Trades. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Straight No Chaser Show this evening.
Thanks, Niece, for having me on. I'm so excited to be here to talk about our program at Chicago Women in Trades.
Now, before we get started, I want to also publicly say how grateful I am beyond just your being a guest here, because we've had some health fights that we overcame.
And we won.
We won. And I just want people to know that you can meet challenges head on and come out victorious. So
Absolutely.
I'm so beyond grateful on that level personally. So I just wanted to say that.
Can I say one thing about that?
Sure.
I had a fight with breast cancer and I won. And the reason I won is because I went and had my mammogram. So I just want to say, go get it.
Please. And for those of you who have forgotten, because I have had shows about cancer before, men get breast cancer too. So don't think it's just a women's disease. They are not the majority by far. But Richard Roundtree Shaft had breast cancer. So don't get all tough on us. It's all about being healthy. So definitely go get yourselves checked. Now, how did you come to be the program director for Chicago Women in Trades?
For about the last 25 years, I've had the opportunity to work in the construction industry. And I started out as a recruiter for the pipe fitters, and then it just kept going. I did an exciting job. I did the hiring for Aldridge Electric on the Red Line. I've worked as a consultant for Chicago Women in Trades, and I was the executive director of New Skill Builders. And we partnered with Chicago Women in Trades. New Skill Builders went out of business during the economic tsunami. And as a result of that, I was hired full-time at Chicago Women in Trades.
Now, I want to back up a little bit, because you said your history really fast, like it wasn't like a big deal. As a woman, how many other women did you see in your career doing things similar to you?
Well, on the recruitment side and on the management side of small community organizations, you do see women. Where you don't see are in the actual field doing the work. In this country, women represent 3% of the skilled trades. In the state of Illinois, Chicago, Cook County, we're proud to say that we represent 6%, which is such a tiny number to be proud of.
But it's double the national average,
Right.
So it's still a big deal.
Yes, it's a very big deal.
Now, when you're talking about Chicago Women in Trades, what exactly does this organization do?
Chicago Women in Trades is 35 years old. We turned 35 last year, and our fight has been to get women into high-paying, skilled jobs. And we do that with direct service. We have 2 programs, and I'll talk in detail about those programs, but we also have an advocacy component. Last year, we held the first WBN, which is Women Build Nations, conference here in Chicago. We had 1,600 women come to Chicago, and women who, we had high school students, we had women who had retired from the construction industry, and over a 3-day period, it was an incredible opportunity to see those women who have worked in these non-traditional careers.
Now, with it being considered a non-traditional career, like I said, because nationally only 3%, that's a very small amount of women. How does Chicago Women in Trades, even with 6%, encourage women?
Well, I think the most important thing that we do is once women come to our organization, and we do a very extensive recruitment, but once they belong to us as a student, last week we had probably 50 women going on the bus to Washington, and while they came in the office, it was just so exciting. I probably had taught at least 45% of those women. So they come to our programs, we introduce them to the construction industry, and then we mentor and we keep them engaged, and they come back all the time to help mentor. And the women who come through our program understand whose shoulders they stand on. And so it is an organization that is exactly what someone needs who wants to do something that's scary, that seems very unfamiliar, and it many times uncomfortable. But we get the women organized to go out and do this work, and then we help them through a number of vehicles.
Now, when I look at what I would think of as a quote-unquote female construction worker, everybody goes, oh, the big gigantic woman. That's not the case. What are the demographics of women that you have recruited as far as age and education, age range and education?
So it's really funny. Last week I had some students come in and talk to we have a class called the Technical Opportunities Program. And that class meets for 12 weeks, and we have women come in and talk to them. It was 3 women who were not over 5'3" that are iron workers.
Wow.
And to become an iron worker, there's this extremely rigorous physical that you must pass. These women were able to pick up and put on a shelf 85 pounds. They were able to push and pull 120 pounds, go up a number of flights of stairs. And these women, we prepare them to do it. So let me tell you a little bit about our program.
Yes.
So the Technical Opportunities Program, which is our pre-apprentice construction program. The women have to apply, they have to take an assessment, and then they do a physical assessment, and then we interview each candidate. The average age of our students are probably 26. Young women who come to our program, that's excellent, but we get women who have gone out and done many other careers, and then they finally admit that this is what they really wanted to do. So of course, I call them mature. The more mature you are, the more challenging it is, the physicality of going into trades. So you come to our program and you apply, you take the test, you take the physical, we interview you because we take a small class of about 25 to 30 women for each session 3 times a year. And our goal is to get the best and brightest and women who can really complete the program and then go on into the construction industry of their choice. So when we do this, they have 2 nights a week for class, Tuesday and Thursday nights, and then Saturdays they have a hands-on. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we teach them math. We have a reading we co-sponsor with Literature for All of Us, because on the actual test we're preparing them to take, the reading is very detailed, and you have to be able to have sharp skills. So what we do is we cannot teach anyone math or teach reading. What we can do is improve their skills. So that's why we give the assessment. Well, on those 2 nights, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have a physical fitness expert who comes in to get the women, again, to improve their physical skills, to understand more about if you're not in good physical shape, you could get hurt, and also understand about nutrition, the whole idea of how to eat to maintain your health and your stamina. And the women, her name is Psycho Barbie, who does our fitness. And she's, she's someone who really believes in what she does and is a great example for the women. Then on Saturdays, we have hands-on. So this past Saturday, they did the pipe fitters and plumbers. We have women who are part of our board, women who have graduated from our program. They come back and some volunteer on that Saturday, and they spend the whole day so that the women can understand exactly what does a pipe fitter do, what does a plumber do, what tools do you use. They get a chance to practice. So it's kind of like the taste of the trades. So every Saturday they get a different hands-on. So at the end of the 12 weeks, they're able to make a good decision based on fit, based on the new awareness of what those trades do. But most important is they get to meet women who do the work that they dream of doing. And it's an incredible opportunity for women.
And it sounds like it's very empowering also, because a lot of times women are trained to not do a physical job, to do a desk job. And it's not because you can't, it's because you haven't tried in a lot of cases.
Right. Well, when you think about a woman who is a hairstylist, and nothing against hairstylists, but you're standing on your feet all day. You may be standing on concrete. You're inhaling fumes. Well, if you go into the trades, you're working at a very good pay. You have benefits, and you're doing something that is very exciting. To be able to drive your kids past a building and say, I built that building, or I was up on that bridge, it's just so exciting. So anyone who does construction is very proud of the work that they do, and it's a real physical and mental challenge to do it, but you get to see this great visual about the outcomes of what you've done.
Right, because there's a tangible result at the end of your job assignment. Right. Now, you said pipe fitting and plumbing specifically. What other trades can women expect to at least get familiar with through your program? So
typically we'll do the electricians, the carpenters, the pipe fitters, plumbers, bricklayers, and we may have an opportunity. We take the women out to some of the schools. For an example, we'll go out to Carroll Stream to the laborers school. We have a very good relationship with the apprenticeship coordinators, and so they allow us to bring the students out. They get a hands-on at that school. Next week we're going to the electricians. The week after that we're going to the painters, and it's very exciting because each one of those classes are taught by women. Wow. And so we have women in our organization at every construction trade. And again, when you look at these women who are iron workers, these are trades that maybe women don't know exist. And so we want to make sure that we expose them to the unknown, as well as thinking that they know exactly what a carpenter does. But we're talking about construction, and some of those trades are different in terms of what people just imagine. When you talk about plumbers, you get to think about that you are responsible for the health and welfare of people by making sure they have clean, healthy water, which is huge. But if you're not a plumber, you may not think about it as such a big deal. We all just like to turn on the water.
After Flint, Michigan, I think we all need to think about it as a big deal. Thank you, because that's a whole nother show.
Yes, and it still is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Now, once the end of the 12 weeks happens, is there a graduation process? So
what happens is that during and after the program, the opportunity to apply for the different trades. For example, right now the plumbers are taking applications. So we're always preparing women to know what applications are being open, because each one of those have a different rhythm to when they take applications, and most give a test. So we make sure that they know all the ins and outs. So during the program, we have a number of women that apply, test, and then afterwards. So it may be 6 months after you complete our program that the trade opens up that you're interested in. And so we stay in close contact by email, text. We have a great Facebook page. Like us us on Facebook. You'll get a chance to see and know about what's going on. So the women go through the 12-week program. They stay engaged with us, and then they, as opportunities come up, we call them and make sure that we keep them informed. We also bring them back. Let's say that you haven't been in the program in 6 months. Well, if you're going to take the plumber's test, we invite you to come back for 2 reasons. One, we want to make sure that your math skills are sharp. And then the second, we want to help you with the physicality. We want you to go through a rigorous physical. We make sure that the women come back, they do their physical, and we help them in every way so that they can be successful on applying for that trade. Because they have to, in the electricians, the plumbers, and the iron workers, you have to actually take a physical. All the trades do not require that you take a physical.
But those 3 specifically.
Right, but all the work is physical. And so that's what we're getting you ready for, being able to lift 80 pounds of conduit, being able to carry 2 or 3 sheets of plywood, and maybe your arm span, maybe you're 5'2". And so we want to give you some tips about how to do that, tips and tricks about how to do that,
And be able to actually do it well.
Oh, yeah, yes. Because, being safe is the most important thing in the construction industry. So our program on March 1st, at 6 p.m., we are going to have an open house, an orientation. It's a great opportunity to come by, and at 6 o'clock, we start exactly at 6 o'clock, and come by and meet women who have gone through our program, talk to some of the various apprenticeship coordinators, and we even will have some of the contractors there. And most importantly, we will introduce folks also to transportation. So we have a representative from Metro, one from maybe someone from CTA, someone for Union Pacific, and they come in and talk to the women, because at the different railroads and BP Amoco, there are non-traditional careers. There are apprenticeship opportunities, and we just want to make sure that someone who wants to do a non-traditional job, that there's more than one way to achieve that goal. So our job, main focus is the getting people prepared to enter union apprenticeship programs.
Do the women have to have at least a high school diploma or GED?
Great question. You must have a high school diploma or a GED, a valid driver's license. And for some folks, that's really a challenge. And so this is a heads up so that they can go out and get all of that. Our class doesn't begin until April, but you must have a high school diploma or a GED, a valid driver's license, and you must be able to pass a hair follicle drug test. Not once, but once you get into the trades, you must be prepared that they do random testing. And so if that's something you've enjoyed doing, you should quit tonight.
Right, get yourself together.
Get yourself together. We have women that do it all the time. They come in and they're honest and they own it, and they stop and they go on. And I have a couple of women who told me the truth last year. One's a union electrician and one's a union plumber.
Wow. So does your organization also help them get unionized, or does that happen once they pass, like you were saying, like the plumber's exam is coming up?
Right.
Once they pass the exam, they're automatically unionized?
Yes. Once they complete our program, then we hand them over to the various trade that they're interested in, where they get an excellent education. So for an example, if someone wanted to be a pipe fitter, plumber, electrician, sheet metal, they would apply, test, and if they were selected, they would start around $17 an hour, and as an apprentice. Some of the programs have pre-apprenticeship programs, but I don't want to get that deep. Come on out March 1st at 6 o'clock, and you'll be able to hear all of that. But they would become a first-year apprentice. Once they become a first-year apprentice, they work at some work and go to school. Some of the trades, they go to school, then they go to work. But the combination is over the next 4 or 5 years, they are working and going to school, learning their craft. At the end of that period, they are typically making between $44 and $47 an hour. They are, in many instances, are 6 hours short of an associate's degree. They have no student loans, and they have a skill that no one can take away from them.
Can I sign up? Am I a little bit too old for this?
You are on the mature side.
I'm on the mature side of the program.
I'm never telling anybody they're too old.
Now, let me go back to something you were saying. So when they are doing the apprenticeship program, once they get through your program and get accepted, is that a paid apprenticeship?
Yes, they are paid apprenticeship. So some of them have what they call a pre-apprenticeship program. The electricians, the bricklayers, and the carpenters, you go to school and you go from 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and you do not get paid. But once you finish that 9 to 11 week program, you then become a first year apprentice. So I tell everyone, if you have a job that you really hate, now's the time to come in, get prepared, keep that job, and save up your money so that you can buy a car, so that you can really be prepared to be successful in this industry. And this is advice that people take every day and move forward with their lives, because most of our women, this is not their first ride at the rodeo.
Because if you're talking about that average young lady starting at 26,
yes,
she's probably done something
Absolutely.
before that and wasn't satisfied for whatever reason, or just was waiting to find a program to let her do what it was that she thought of doing and just didn't know how to get there.
Well, what is so exciting is the variety in the women that come. Over the last 2 years, I had one woman who was an architect. She came into our program and said she wanted to be a carpenter. She is now a second-year electrician apprentice. We have another woman who was a nurse. She was making $33 an hour, and she said she wasn't happy. She is now also a second-year apprentice as an electrician. So women come to us who have just gotten their GED or have worked very little. We have women who have been incarcerated, and so many of the trades take the women who have backgrounds. And so when we talk about the women that come, they represent every spectrum of the women that we know, that we all know, aunties, cousins. And what happens is that many of them always wanted to do this, and they was discouraged. They were told that they could not get into construction, that nobody wanted them, or that they could not do the work. And so one day they wake up and they say, hey, they hear something like on intellectual radio,
yes,
and they get excited about it. And the next thing you know, on March 1st at 6 o'clock, they're in my office at 2444 West 16th Street on the corner of 16th and Western. And we have this incredible workshop that we're excited about.
When I'm thinking about, like I said, there are women going from incarceration, women that have just come out of getting their GED, women that have had degrees. And the common denominator is, but I want to do something more.
Right.
Now, you mentioned you all had an advocacy program.
Right. What we do is we work very hard with the elected officials, with making sure that organizations that traditionally, again, have not thought that women could do this work, that we're spreading the word. We just recently received a grant from the Department of Labor, and with that grant, we're able to go out and help across 10 states, help other folks develop a program like Chicago Women in Trades, learn how to work with the various unions, learning how perhaps that we may go in and help someone create a Chicago Women in Trades, or perhaps just go in and offer up some of the trainings that we do. We teach sexual harassment. We teach how to do the math. Teaching adults math is very different from teaching teenagers or high school students. And so we really have over 35 years learned the ropes and are very good at what we do. So we're excited about our reputation and how we're reaching out beyond the city of Chicago to help people, women, begin to expand the programs.
Now I see that there's some papers over here.
Yes.
Tell me what we have going on.
On March 1st, we have for the Chicago Women in Trades, for women to come out, and it's an orientation. It starts at 6 o'clock, and at that time you'll be able to learn very much about Chicago Women in Trades, our programs, and then you're able to sign up for an assessment right there on the spot and get you moving in the right direction. It's 2017, the first of the year. It's always exciting to do something new and different that you've been wanting to do.
And let me reiterate This is a free training program.
Yes, it's free. And I have another program that I'll talk about a little bit
Okay.
also. This is a book that if they come, it just has a sample of what the construction industry is like. It has sample math in it that will give you an idea. And it also has these great pictures of women who have actually gone through our program and comments from them. Because no matter what you do, if you can hear from people who sat at one time in the audience for the orientation and now are journey level tradeswomen, there's nothing better.
Now, I want to say this again so everyone can hear all the information. Wednesday, March 1st, 6 p.m. The address is 2444 West 16th Street, Suite 3E. And the phone number is 312-942-1444. And what's on, I love this. This is women's work.
Yes.
I love that. So this is the Chicago Women's in Trades Open House. Now, what's the Facebook page?
Just like us, Chicago Women in Trades.
Chicago Women in Trades. And to contact you via the website, Chicago Women in Trades, #2.org.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm saying #2 so you know it's the numeral 2, not number, the number sign 2. Now, tell me about the other program you want to speak about.
So we have a welding program. Our welding program is designed to get women into manufacturing. So the welding program is very different. The design is to get you to work. Being in the construction program, you have to have some patience. But if you want to get trained and go to work, the welding program. So to be in the welding program, you do not have to have a high school diploma or a GED, nor do you have to have a driver's license, because you can work in the city and go on public transportation, and you're going to one place to go to work. The welding program, it requires, and I would encourage you to go to YouTube and put in welding so you can see what it looks like. But the welding program, you're going to learn how to weld. And at the end of our 12-week program, you will have your OSHA 10 card and your American Welding Society certification. With those certifications, you can begin entry-level welding jobs. Welding jobs, manufacturing is coming back. It's not coming back as fast as some people claim it's going to,
but it is coming.
It is coming, and it's here. And so if you know that you want to go to work, our program, if you complete the 12 weeks and you have excellent attendance, the program is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9:30 in the morning to 3:30. It's a real commitment. However, at the end of the 12 weeks, we have a job developer, we have partnerships. You will find a job if you've done everything that we've required you to do. And that's the only thing that we have to base our recommendations for you to go to work, is what happened during those 12 weeks. So once you complete that, then there will be job interviews. We do your resume development. We do a very robust job training program to get people ready. And when they complete it, they go out and our interviews are set up. They go out to visit different manufacturing. So you could work in the city and typically make between $11 and $14 an hour. And I just want to say, some people may think, well, I can make $10 an hour. Yes, you can make $10 an hour at many fast foods and retail. However, we're talking about a career, and that's the difference. So you're going to work, you're making $11 to $14 an hour, and if you're good at what you do, you will be promoted. We have a woman who's been working 6 months. She's gone from $11 an hour to $17.
In 6 months.
In 6 months. That does not happen to everyone. However, she has perfect attendance. She has the right attitude. She's got a pep in her step, and she really wants it. She is so excited about how her life has changed. She's actually been able to save money, and she has now purchased a vehicle, which means that she could go to work out in the suburbs where you can make even more money. But welding is not for everyone. You've got to be willing to work in a very hot environment. You have to be willing maybe do production work, some lifting. You may be required to move your own materials or prep your own materials. So you have to have an open mind about where is this headed? It's headed to a career. Robotics is involved, and there's many future that's going to create an opportunity for you if you have the skill. And so again, if you come to the open house on March 1st, then you will get a chance to see our welding program. It's a small program. We only have 12 people maximum at a time. Welding is in the booth. It's pretty intense, but for those who know how to do it and learn well, they get a skill that they can use. So we're excited about those two programs.
And when you say that it's in the booth,
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means you put on all the welding gear, you put on the helmet, and you go in the booth and you weld, and then you go and you weld some more. And that is how you become skilled at welding.
So this is straight up on the job training.
Right. You cannot learn welding sitting in the classroom. However, we do teach blueprint reading, and there are math that's required to go along with welding. And so with the construction and the welding industry, you should sharpen your math skills. You should go, there's a couple of programs online that will help you as an adult improve your math skills. And I would encourage you to do that, because the better your skills are, you've got to know how to measure. And you're not talking about just 1.5 inches. You really have to be able to measure accurately.
If someone comes out March 1st and says, you know what, I'm not quite ready, I do want to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a mentorship program for them to kind of keep up with them? Because honestly, to me, it sounds like you have a waiting list.
Well, what happens is that, let's say that you come and your test scores are not quite what we need. We do have tutoring, but the ceiling is high so that we can accept people that can be successful. In the welding program, the math skill requirements are lower than with the pre-apprenticeship program. So it depends on how well you do, and we do have some support. We are partnered with the Jane Addams Resource Corporation for our welding program, and they do have a bridge program for people who don't quite make it high enough. And so we never want to just tell somebody, okay, you didn't score well, bye. And so we'll have a conversation, try to offer up some ideas about how to get that. But I would encourage any adult, or if you know an adult, go online and go to some of these math programs, just like you go online for everything else. Go online and improve your math skills.
And for those of you who don't know, if you have a Chicago Public Library card, you can use their computers for 2 hours a day for free.
Excellent.
So if you don't have the internet access at your home, go to the library and get a math program and sit there for 2 hours a day and work on it, because that is a free option in the city of Chicago.
Yes, yes.
Now, I don't even know if there's anything else we need to tell anyone.
Well, March 1st.
Right. Wait a minute. 2444 West 16th Street, Suite 3E in Chicago, 6 p.m. on time.
Yes, on time.
On time.
Yes.
And this is the welding program on one hand and the pre-apprenticeship programs on the other hand. But come out, because there are opportunities in the Chicagoland area for women to get hired in both genres.
So you have to be 18 years or older, have a high school diploma or a GED, and a valid driver's license for the construction program. For the welding program, you need to come in. You do not have to have a high school diploma or a GED or a driver's license, but you must be prepared to take a math and reading assessment and also a physical. We do a physical assessment to make sure that you're ready or that you're close in order to take on this challenge. It's 2017. Come on out, women. Bring your daughters. Come on out.
And for more information, if you don't have access on a regular basis to the website, 312-942-1444.
Yes, and my name is Linda Hanna.
Well, thank you so much, Auntie Linda.
And if you guys call me Auntie Linda, it's okay.
No, it's not okay. Speaking on behalf of myself and Karan, who's sitting in the corner, won't get on the show. That's all right. I'll get you on another one. It's not okay. She is our auntie. So thank you so much for coming out here and representing Chicago Women in Trades. And if you really, really, really are serious, ladies, about changing your life for the better, this is a program for you to consider. And with that, I thank you so much, because the Straight No Chaser show is about economics, entrepreneurship, investment, enrichment, and empowerment for the betterment of our communities as a whole. So we are signing off for the evening. So peace and blessings in the name of Jesus, and everyone be safe. We'll see you in a few weeks.
It's straight talk with no chaser. It gives the people a voice, empowers you with a choice. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. She provides a platform of growth and gives the dying people hope. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser.